Remember that time I said El Cid needed to kill both of King Sancho's champions? Because even if he runs away, he's banished and we no longer can win the scenario, even if we defeat all other players. Well, I was wrong. There was a post on the AoE2 subreddit the other day asking about this scenario, and it got me thinking. Now, thinking is a very dangerous thing, and I realized there actually is a way to avoid the kills. So today, let's take a pacifist look at how to win brother against brother without killing enemy units.
Let the tournament begin!
To win the tournament, El Cid needs to defeat both a two-handed swordsman and a knight. These scenario triggers require both of these specific units to die. We can't have El Cid kill them, but there are a few Gaia monks in the western corner of the map. If we could make use of their services, we could convert and delete King Sancho's champions, and recall that deleting our own units does not count them as kills. But if we leave the tournament and get banished, the monks are removed. We need a way to acquire these monks without getting banished. Now, this is going to take a good bit of trickery. Let's start by looking at the setup governing how the banishment works. There are two separate triggers, one for the champion hero and one for the cavalry hero. Both have a one-tile wide area that stretches across the map just outside of the tournament grounds. If El Cid is detected in this area, King Sancho gets angry. Banishment would do three things. 1, it makes us an enemy. 2, it removes the monks in the corner. And 3, it deactivates the triggers we need to win the scenario. So we need a way for El Cid to sneak out without being detected. And to do this, we're going to use a little trick I learned when I made Tetris playable in AoE 2. Yes, a few years ago, the Spiffing Brit made a video about how shorts were overpowered. Then, after watching a few too many among the hidden videos, I realized Tetris is the perfect aspect ratio for a short. So then I went into the scenario editor and made a version of Tetris that is playable as a custom scenario. The very basic idea is that the select all hotkeys introduced in DE can select buildings without moving the camera. And by setting up custom hotkeys, we can use triggers with an object selected condition to detect if a building is selected. Then, the select all hotkeys can be used to activate triggers and serve as hotkeys to control the state of the game board. But the problem is, if we play at the default 1.7x game speed, it feels slow, clunky, and unresponsive. So I activated the debug speeds and increased the game speed to ×8, and lo and behold, it actually feels pretty good to play. Now, how does this have anything to do with El Cid? Well, as I was working on Tetris, I realized that the game engine checks the list of triggers once every in-game second. We can see this directly if we set up a variable to be displayed in these scenario objectives and use a looping trigger to increment it. The counter stays in sync with the in-game clock. Take another look at this one-tile gap. El Cid only is banished if he is detected in this area, but since the game checks triggers only once per in-game second, we have approximately a 1-second window during which we can run across the tile. Let's check the stats on the two El Cid units. The champion moves at 0.9 tiles per second, but once he gets on a horse, he moves at 1.32 tiles per second. That means if we time it just right, we can run across the gap and not get banished. Aw, King Sancho, don't worry, we're gonna be right back. Just have an errand to run with this new horse you just gave us. Unfortunately, we do have to kill the first two-handed swordsman before King Sancho gives us the horse, but this already is a big improvement if we can skip the second kill, and I'm not one to look a gift horse in the mouth, so let's see what happens. We can run to the corner and get the monks, then walk the monks back to the tournament grounds. They convert the knight, we delete the knight, and we win the tournament.
Rodrigo Diaz de Vivar, the Cid. You will lead the armies of Castile. I am glad that you have won. You are the only man I would trust with a very important duty.
Now we just complete the scenario as normal. King Alfonso never attacks, so we just build up, petard his castle, and bring him back to the start. And there we are, only one kill. But now, so tantalizingly close to our goal of 0 kills, can we do better? we need to avoid killing the initial two-handed swordsman, so we're stuck with the champion El Cid. And try as I might, I just can't get him to run across the tile fast enough. But what if we didn't have to cross the entire tile? Take another really good look at this area. Really stare at it. Do you see what I see? A tower. Yes, we can garrison inside of allied towers, and when we ungarrison, the default location puts us a fraction of the way across the tile. If we hop out and run at just the right moment, could El Cid, with his 0.9 tiles per second movement speed, make it in time? Well, there's another problem before that. We need to get to the tower. We can start off by heading off to King Sancho's castle. Once the tournament begins, we garrison inside. That makes the two-handed swordsman stop chasing us. Now let's just walk on over to the tower. Oh, right. To get there, we have to walk through the banishment area, right around this statue and straggler tree. If only that tree wasn't there. If only. Well, if we look over by the town, the AI isn't standing idle. The villagers are moving around, gathering resources, and generally just going about their business. While that's going on, we'll just park El Cid by this straggler tree and have him wait, and wait, and wait, and wait. Yes, there's a villager. They're doing it. It's taken almost 2 hours, but finally they've chopped all of the trees near their TC and have come to chop this straggler tree. Oh, the wait was worth it. We're through. Now comes the hard part. We need to time our ungarrison perfectly. Okay, that didn't work. Let's try again. Well, this might take me a few attempts.
A few moments later.
Sí, agora.
Oh, finally, we did it. Freedom! Now we go and pick up the monks like before. We can use them to convert and delete the two-handed swordsman. Yay, we won the first part of the tournament.
I would face the Cid, my king, with your permission.
You would face him from horseback, Here, afoot? I will not allow that. However, if he wishes, I have a horse for Rodrigo in my stable. Rodrigo?
We're not done yet. We need to activate the second part. It is possible to face the knight afoot, but we need to be directly in the tournament grounds in order to achieve that condition. So we need El Cid to head back. To get him across the gap one more time, we'll need some villagers. We could try the serfs, but they don't recognize the foot soldier as King Sancho's champion.
Clumsy soldiers. Not 2 weeks ago, another army traipsed to our fields and destroyed half of our harvest. Mind your lumbering feet. I am not jesting, soldier. Get out of these fields. That is enough. Oafish, thoughtless, clumsy, boulder-footed soldiers.
That's okay though, as we can change diplomacy and convert them. Alternatively, we could convert one of King Alfonso's villagers. By this time, they're gathering well outside of their base. Now we have some villagers, and we have infinite gold from the relics at the monastery, so we can add in a TC and begin building a base. King Sancho even gives us supplies ahead of time.
Wonderful. With this building, you have begun your quest in earnest. I send my thanks and the thanks of Castile.
We could head back now, but let's complete the rest of the scenario first, just for fun. We can boom up, make an army of petards, and destroy King Alfonso's castle. We can run him back to the tournament grounds to chill with King Sancho and our monks. We just need to get El Cid back across the banishment area. And we can do that by constructing a tower just on the opposite side. We garrison into the tower to hop over the gap, set the gather point to ungarrison on the opposite side, since we can control this tower, and head back to the tournament. Now, finally, we can activate the knight, convert it, and delete it.
The horse, Babieca, comes from the renowned royal stables of Seville. Very well, brave Rodrigo. Face the knight afoot.
At this point though, the scenario still doesn't end. We need to have Alfonso and the horse version of El Cid in the tournament grounds in order to finish. So let's pick up the horse, head back, and see which voice lines manage to play before we win.
Rodrigo, you know of my brother Alfonso. You also know of his ambition to rule all of Spain. I need you to travel to his castle at Colpejera, capture Alfonso, and bring him to me so that I may persuade him that ruling Leon is enough.
There we have it. El Cid, inspired by the power of Tetris, now can complete his campaign with 0 kills. With this scenario finished, and if we use the restart while placing a house trick to remove the feudal age restriction in the Battle of Stirling, that leaves us with only one remaining obstacle, Kushluk, the only kill in the original Age of Kings and Conquerors expansion campaigns. As a reminder, I do have a Patreon where I give early access to videos such as this one. Everyone gets access even at the $1 tier. I keep ads turned off on my videos, so any support on Patreon really does help. Hopefully I'll be able to get some more full pacifist campaigns done soon. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.